Test 1, 2. Okay, if we could have some silence in the chambers, please. If you have any cell phones or electronic device, please shut them off. Okay, the Revere Zoning Board of Appeals meeting will now come to order. Roll call.
Roll call of the Zoning Board of Appeals members. Mr. Lemonna. Here. Mr. Lopes. Here. Mr. Pelton. Here. And Chairman Tucker.
Here.
Here, a quorum is present.
If
Do
we
we
could take calendar item A 2126.
Application A2126, District Shirley LLC, 1040 to 1048 North Shore Road, Unit B, Revere, Mass., requesting a 6-month extension of the 1-year exercise period from the Zoning Board of Appeals associated with the granted variances of A2008 for 207 to 209 Shirley Avenue.
If you press the button.
Good afternoon, board members. I'm here today on behalf of District Shirley LLC, the principal of which is Jamie Russo. My name is Carrie Ann Green. I'm an attorney with D'Ambrosio Brown LLP with an address of 14 Proctor Avenue in Revere. As the city clerk said, we're seeking a 6-month extension for the variance that was previously granted for 207-209 Shirley Avenue. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have and ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing that it's a public hearing, are there any proponents? Anyone in favor? Hearing none, I'll close that side of Council President.
Anthony Zambuto, 87 High Street, Revere, Mass. I'm in favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any members? Just ask for a roll call, please.
Shall the Zoning Board of Appeals grant a 6-month extension of the 1-year exercise period for A2008? Mr. Lemonna. Voting yes. Mr. Lopes. Voting yes. Mr. Pelton. Voting yes. And Chairman Tucker.
Yes.
Voting yes. The 6-month extension has been granted.
Thank you.
Okay, now we can go back to regular order of business.
Application A21-20, Dion Krieger, 453 Broadway, Everett, Mass., seeking a variance of section 17.24.010, minimum rear yard setback requirement of 30 feet for lots greater than 6,000 square feet in the RB district to enable the appellant to construct a 213 square foot addition and a 316 square foot deck at 313 Prospect Avenue.
Okay, this was a continuance from our last meeting. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Name is Dion Krieger, and I'm here on behalf of 313 Prospect Ave. I think that's what it is. And yeah, last time I think we had a question with the council, the city council, and again, what we're trying to do is just an extension of an addition in the back to create a suite, a master suite for the owner, and you know, and we don't have enough setbacks, but we are following the existing setback already there of the house. You know, literally we're just kind of following the existing condition of the property. I don't know if you have the plans. I'm sure you have the plans there.
No,
No?
all we were concerned about is that you meet with the ward councilor, and I was told that that was done.
Yes.
And that all parties are in agreement, and that he is now in favor of it.
Awesome.
So,
Yes.
being the formality, I will ask if there are any other proponents. And I know that the gentleman behind you, our council president, would, am I right that you're a proponent on this for Brian Keefe? No?
No, I haven't.
All right.
I'm not familiar.
So are there any other proponents? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any members wish to speak? I'd ask for a roll call.
Shall the Zoning Board of Appeals grant the relief requested for 313 Prospect Avenue? Mr. Lemonna. Voting yes. Mr. Lopes. Voting yes. Mr. Pelton. Voting yes. And Chairman Tucker.
Yes.
Voting yes. The variance has been granted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next application on the agenda is A21-22, Harris Realty Trust, 43 Court Road, Winthrop, requesting several variances to enable the appellant to construct a new 2-family dwelling on Lot Part 31 at Harris Street, Revere, Mass.
Okay, just for the edification of the attorney and the representative for the client, this, you don't have to go through a big dissertation. We all have taken a look at this. If there's any proponents or opponents that would like to have a look at it, I'll welcome them to do that. But if you could state your name and address for the record, and then simply the reason why you're here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I do have, if you're interested in the plans, I'm sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Gold. I'm the attorney for Harris Realty Trust. With me tonight are Peter Blaisdell, who is the project engineer from Williams Sparagus, Sebastian Baratieri, who is the trustee of the Harris Realty Trust, and of course myself. I'm here today because we're seeking relief from the board to construct a two-family house on an 8,535 square foot parcel of vacant landlocked land at the intersection of Revere Beach Parkway and Harris Street. Permit application was denied at site plan review, and at which point the several violations, which I won't recite if the board does not want to hear them, were noted. The parcel itself has very unique site characteristics as it's landlocked. It's bordered on Revere Beach Parkway by a guardrail, a state highway. On Harris Street, there's another vacant lot which has a billboard on it, and the proposal will be that the access to the rear lot, the subject parcel, will be through an access and utility easement that will be granted. Again, we have pictures and drawings, and if someone would like to see, I have 11 by 17 sets of drawings if the board or the members of the board.
If you could pass them to the city, to the clerk, please.
Secondly, in addition to being landlocked, there's a 40-foot wide gas line easement that bisects the parcel from east to west. That easement appears on sheets 1 and 2 of the provided plans, and I believe you'll probably see that on the access and utility easement drawing, which shows up as probably 4 or 5 on the set. So thirdly, there are 2 underground drain lines. One's a culvert, one's a drain line that bisect the property from north to south and east to west, also shown. As a result of the location of the gas line easement, the 40-foot gas line easement, and these 2 drain lines, the proposed structure, the two-family house, has to be located east of the gas line easement and between the 2 drain lines that bisect the property. So because of these severe site constraints, the construction of the house is not economical unless the applicant, Harris Realty Trust, gets the granted relief from the various setbacks and height and stories that they have requested. If this approval of this application certainly would not be detrimental to the public good, nor would it derogate from the intent and purpose of the code. The existing parcel, again, is vacant. It's overgrown and a collection point for other people's trash and unwanted debris. Very difficult for the applicant to maintain. The site does not have wetlands. It's not located on flood hazard zone. The code specifically encourages the development of new housing, the prevention of blight, and particularly environmental pollution, such as the trash and debris that's constantly littering the site. The proposed conversion or the proposed redevelopment of this vacant parcel into a two-family house would in fact be consistent with all of these code objections. The addition of new housing would be an asset to Harris Street neighborhood, which is primarily two-family, single two-family and residential condominiums, and would provide significant public health and safety benefits to those residents. No measurable traffic impacts would be realized from the addition of the new dwelling. And again, the applicant would be eliminating a significant source of trash and debris. In summary, Development of this parcel into housing would be the most beneficial use of the parcel, and the variances requested are the minimum variances necessary to economically develop the parcel. For all the foregoing reasons, Harrison Realty Trust respectively requests the requested zoning relief be allowed or be approved by the board, the variance is granted, and at this time I'm happy to take any questions you may have. And if there's any specific questions related to design or either engineering or construction, Peter Blaisdell would be most happy to entertain them.
Okay,
Thank
seeing that it's a public hearing, I will continue on and ask for proponents. Is there anyone in favor? If you could just step aside and people will come up to the microphone. Council President Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr.
Good
Chairman. Anthony Zambudo, 87 High Street, Revere. I'm here to speak in favor. I think that this will add to the neighborhood, and as the attorney said, that this will clean up what appears to be like a dump site, because it's just been that for many years, and I think this will be an improvement. So I stand here before you asking you to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. The ward councilor and myself walked this property and met with the direct abutter. The ward councilor did state that he's in favor of this. He did say that he may not make this meeting, so for the record, he did look at the property and was in favor of this. Are there any other proponents?
Chairman Tucker, I believe a letter was submitted by the direct abutter at number 23. I don't know whether or not that made it
Yes,
into the file.
that'll be read in once we
Oh, we
get
did.
through with the proponents. There any other proponents here? Hearing none, there is one letter that was submitted for the direct abutter. Did you get that, Ashley? There's a gentleman behind you with a copy of the letter.
This was just submitted Monday. I did not receive this. I'll read it.
Okay.
This is from resident Ricardo Dale Media, 23 Harris Street. I am the homeowner at 23 Harris Street and the direct abutters to the vacant land located at Harris Street, part of Lot 31, which is the subject of an appeal before the zoning board by Harris Realty Trust. We would like to be on record as being in support of this proposed project. The vacant land is an eyesore, and construction of a new two-family house on this vacant lot would be a significant improvement to the neighborhood and would eliminate the current problems we have experienced with constant littering of trash and other debris. It will also provide much-needed new housing. My family would also feel more secure knowing that we had new neighbors living next door instead of an overgrown vacant lot. Thank you for the opportunity to express my support for this proposed project.
Opponents? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Anyone opposed? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any members wish to speak? Would ask for a roll call?
Shall the Zoning Board of Appeals grant the relief requested for Harris Street? Mr. Lemonna? Voting yes. Mr. Lopes? Voting yes. Mr. Pelton? Voting yes. And Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Voting yes. The variances have been granted for Harris Street.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you. So we have one more calendar item number that I don't believe anyone's present for. Was there anything submitted?
He said he was going to be here at our last email from Pete Hardin, probably around 4 o'clock.
A 5-minute recess.
You want me, Mr. Chairman?
Call the attorney for 7 Franklin. He's not here to ask for withdrawal. The meeting is called back to order. Okay, if we could take up calendar item A2125.
Application A21-25, JEK Enterprises LLC, 7 Franklin Street, Revere, Mass., appealing the cease and desist order of the Inspector of Buildings issued May 14th, 2021, respecting business operations at 7 Franklin Street, Revere, Mass., as set forth in the cease and desist order, in which states in pertinent part, cease and desist all business operations. 2, cease use of the warehouse and board-up garage structures for failure to comply with fire department order to sprinkler the buildings. And 3, cease use of the paper street for ingress, egress, or use in any way for business operations.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. It's good to be before you this evening. I had heard in communications from Attorney Brown that he would be filing a formal letter to this honorable body establishing that he has closed that matter, that the cease and desist, which included the request for filing an application for occupancy and the paper street issue. Having seen that, I also forwarded to the zoning clerk a letter from my client withdrawing the matter. So at this time, we respectively asked the board to withdraw without prejudice.
Okay, any members wish to speak? We have what do you have to do for this now? Just a roll call? A roll call, please.
Shall the ZBA grant the petitioner the allowance to withdraw without prejudice for application A21-25 relative to 7 Franklin Street? Mr. Lemonna? Voting yes. Mr. Lopes? Voting yes. Mr. Pelton? Voting yes. And Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, this matter has been withdrawn without prejudice.
And then we have the one, are you handling the other matter?
Yes, the
21.
Agnes matter.
Yes.
So
This is on application A-21-23, Cavallo Corporation, 70 Victoria Street, Somerville, Mass., requesting several variances to enable the appellant to construct a single-family dwelling on vacant lots 5 and 6 at Agnes Avenue.
good evening again, Mr. Chairman. My name is Attorney Larry Simeone, law offices at 300 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts, representing the Cavallo Corporation, who seeks to develop a one-family home on lots 5 and 6 on Agnes Avenue. We had not had the opportunity to have the neighborhood meeting that we had hoped. We would like to have a neighborhood meeting. I got a couple of dates from Ward Councilman McKenna, and it's our intention to hold a neighborhood meeting and then return to you at the next available date. I'd ask you for a continuance at that time, at this time.
And I did speak to the ward council who is in agreement with the continuance because they need a neighborhood meeting. So I would ask for a roll call, please.
Shall the Zoning Board of Appeals continue this matter to the meeting of
August 25th.
August 25th, 2021? Mr. Lemonna? Voting yes. Mr. Lopes? Voting yes. Mr. Pelton? Voting yes. And Chairman Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, this matter will be continued to August 25th. There's no further business.
Having no further
you.
business, the meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening.